Okay, this is my conclusion video for my leading video that I did with the 7th grade team regarding data and lesson planning for a future unit. And the meeting went very well. The team actually had done some pre-work. When we started out, I had sent the agenda to them, so they knew that we were going to discuss areas that they could go back and have some reteach with the students that were critical for their students as they moved up into 8th grade. And so what we did is we started the meeting with going through the agenda, and then from there what we did is we moved, after no one had any questions about the agenda, we talked about the current unit of study that they were in, and that unit is over space exploration. And because the standards aren't tested in 8th grade, and it's often viewed as kind of, it's a historical unit, however, it's kind of a fun unit. It's not something that's critical for the students to carry over into 8th grade. The teachers were wanting to look at ways that we could shorten that unit a little bit and build in some time then to meet our goals of this reteach of the units that the students are struggling in. So we took a look at the unit. It has one 5E, one lesson cycle, as we call it. We follow the 5E model of instruction. So we went through the UBD, the Understanding by Design, the general outlook of the unit. We looked at the unit test to make sure that the areas that we were reducing in size weren't going to be critical for then the unit test for the students, because they are assessed on this information in 7th grade. So after we covered that and we got a good plan down for the current unit, we started with the data piece. And in attendance, I guess I should say, in this meeting were the team of 3 teachers, and then also the principal, who is my practicum mentor, came in a little bit late. She had a student situation that she was handling first, but she was in attendance for the meeting. And so we started in on the data piece, and what we did is we went back and we looked specifically at the areas on the chemistry test that could then be assessed again, or could be critical information for this group of 7th graders as they move into 8th grade. And I kind of went over some history basic information for them so that they would understand the importance of why I was asking them to look through this information, and that in general, as a campus, we had been dropping in this area. And it's tested, it's 5 of the 15 standards that are tested every year. And of those 5 standards, each of them is asked a minimum of 2 times, in two different ways. And so because of that, out of a 54 question test, we could see anywhere from 10 to 15 questions just over this information. And so that's a pretty large portion of their test. So that's why we, as a team, decided we wanted to focus in on where we could assist for this. And then also it's the second major unit that they start teaching when they get to 8th grade. So we felt that if we gave them a little background information and shored up some of those areas of concern, that then that would benefit these students, and it would also help out the 8th grade teachers as well. So we went through and we looked at the data, and specifically we looked at, first we just identified what the lowest questions were and what standards those came from. And it was predominantly 3 standards that we were looking at for 7th grade. So then we pulled and we looked at the test itself and where those standards matched up to the test to look at the difficulty, to see what I wanted the teachers to see is it a pure acquisition of knowledge? They don't understand the concept itself, the definition, or is it a transfer of knowledge where they're being asked to do something with the information and it's evident they understand it, but they don't know what to do with it when they're posed with a situation such as a graph or a novel situation. Pretty much what we found is that 2 out of the 3 standards, they had the information, they didn't know what to do with it. And then one of the standards, they were pretty shaky on the information. So